What happens to your DNA data now that 23andMe has filed for bankruptcy?
Yeah.
The struggling genetic testing company 23andMe has filed for bankruptcy, and its co-founder and CEO has resigned. Now its millions of customers are wondering what happens to their genetic data and whether it's secure. 23andMe was founded in 2006 with a promise to revolutionize the future of genetics and healthcare. The company became known for its saliva-based DNA testing kits, purchased by millions of customers. Eager to learn more about their ancestry and later dive further into health research and drug development. But it has an uncertain future. But it has faced an uncertain future for some time. Beyond battles to go private, the company struggled to find a profitable business model since going public in 2021. Then in 2023, hackers exposed the personal data of nearly 7 million 23andMe customers over a 5-month period, dealing a major blow to the company's reputation and compounding its growth problems. 23andMe says it plans to continue operating. In an open letter to customers posted Sunday, the company wrote that orders and subscriptions will continue as normal, and any purchases or genetic testing kits sent in for processing will be handled without disruption. 23andMe added that customers still have full access to their accounts, reports, and stored data. Though the company's privacy policies say that the data could be sold to other firms, 23andMe says customer data will remain protected. In its recently updated privacy policies, the company writes that if it is involved in a bankruptcy, merger, acquisition, reorganization, or sale of assets, your personal information may be accessed, sold, or transferred as part of that transaction, and this privacy statement will apply to your personal information as transferred to the new entity. However, the company has said that the bankruptcy process will not affect how it stores, manages, or protects customer data. Its open letter to customers stated that any buyer of 23andMe will be required to comply with applicable law with respect to the treatment of customer data. And this article comes from CBC.
Super not surprising.
There's a lot to digest there. First discussion question, would we be concerned about our DNA being out there in a database?
I could make a joke here about...
We're not going to.
We won't. I would be concerned. So I've given blood. I've done a bunch of stuff medically. I've got a Life Labs profile being in Ontario. Like I would imagine some level of my data is controlled by the government.
Yep.
To what extent that is controlled, I don't know. I've never looked into it. Would I be concerned about it? A little bit. It's data. I don't know how much they've got on me. I've never gone through the 23andMe experience. I don't know what data they get on someone else. But let's just play this out. If I had an underlying condition, and that DNA that the saliva swab that I send in says, oh, I've got this underlying thing, and I'm going to be at risk for X and Y. And now that data that is being aggregated and sold to a pharmaceutical company that produces drug that solves X and Y, well, they're going to say, yeah, great. I want all of that customer information because I want to go get those customers. And I don't want a random company having my healthcare information, period.
Sure.
I don't want anyone knowing about, other than my doctor, other than my healthcare professionals, you shouldn't get access to you shouldn't get access to my stuff. So that's my belief.
I'm less concerned about it as a Canadian than I would be if I was an American. And the big reason...
Most of them are going to be American.
Yeah.
Most of them are going to be American, yeah.
And the big thing I've heard thrown around about this is if insurance companies buy that data, they could start using it to...
Oh, yeah.
Drop clients.
No,
and now you don't have health insurance.
They won't even drop them. They'll just say your premiums tripled.
Well, they do both. Look at all the insurance companies that aren't insuring the areas that have had fires.
Oh yeah, they're gonna.
If they smell risk, they're gonna run.
Yep, they're either gonna charge you at the wazoo or they're gonna run and like.
And if they can show a link to someone, it doesn't even have to be your DNA. If they can see that someone in your family carries a genetic marker for something that's potentially hereditary, like you might lose your insurance coverage because this data is out there and being accessed by insurance companies. Now, that's not what's happening currently, but like it's all over the article.
The writing is on the wall.
The privacy policies say it can be sold.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to buy it? I would think that insurance companies would have some of the most interest in it. for example.
Insurance companies, healthcare company, like anyone that is going to use, and again, I don't know to the level of what data was collected through that process and how much DNA and all of the things, but like if you've got, and again, from what I know about genetic sequencing, like it's huge, so I don't know what I don't know. I just know that like there are companies out there that are going to try and make money.
Yeah.
And this is just a very, very non-ethical way to make money, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's not what you signed up. Technically, that's what you signed up for.
Well,
by giving
totally what you signed up for.
That's what you signed up for. That is what you signed up for.
You sent them the DNA. You gave them the data.
So this is,
customer. Or although if one of your relatives went and did it, it's not what you.
It's not what you signed up for.
And now you're just as on the hook as they are.
It's very.
Information is out there.
It's
the cat's
very.
out of the bag.
The cat's out of the bag. It's very similar to having a tracker in your car to monitor driving behavior. You have now given away that data in the hopes that you'll save 6%. But like, I wouldn't want to give up that data, period. Like you don't have, So I would be concerned. I don't know, I think there's more protections in the EU, because this was a global company. Like you could have, I'm pretty sure, Japan and South Korea, like I'm sure you could have sent in your DNA from all over the place.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone in your family that's done it?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah, from
I don't know.
From both my immediate family and like I've got relatives on. Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a second. Did you learn anything? Like was the initial product as advertised? Did they learn anything by doing it?
I don't want to get into it because it relates to information that is not mine to share.
Okay. I just mean like did you think they got value out of it? Did you think they got value out of using the service 23andMe?
I would say some of them did.
Okay, so some of them did.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is probably not what they wanted. No one wanted this to happen to their data.
Yeah.
So
I think it's also worth acknowledging these days that data gets out.
Oh yeah. Well,
right?
Data.
You can only be so secure, and we have to recognize that nothing is truly secret in 2025. This is not one of our discussion topics for today, but really recently, the guy who runs the site Have I Been Pwned?
Oh.
Which is, if you're not familiar with it, it's a website that you can go in and you can look up your information and you can find out if any of your passwords have been leaked in any of the major data breaches. So like if you're using the same password on a dozen different websites and one of those websites had a security breach, you can go to this website and find out if your password was among the ones that was accessed in that breach, and that tells you I better go to all these other 12 websites where I use the same password and change it.
Don't use the same password.
Because hackers could potentially have access to that information.
They got your email and a password, and now they're just going to try it.
The reason I bring this up is because really recently the guy who runs that site fell for a phishing email.
So he himself got pwned.
He was just tired one night and he got caught up in it. And like, you can't be any more on the pulse
than that
guy, and he still fell for it. The data still got out there. Humans are the weakest link in data security.
Brutal.
And this is the world we live in now, right? The data is going to get out.
Typically they don't hack the computer, they hack the person.
Yeah.
They're not getting in through an algorithm. Yeah, like they do, but like really not.
So speaking of what's typical,
wow,
how unusual is this update to the privacy policy? And it's a kind of a loaded question. The answer is it's not. It's not unusual.
It's not unusual at all.
Companies update privacy policies constantly. We've been looking into AI note taking because it's great. It's got great applications for the kind of business we run, where it can save us a ton of time in our meetings and allow us to take more effective notes. Every single AI note-taking company we've looked at has privacy policy that some of them are pretty good in terms of like saying, oh, we're not going to use your data for training AI. We're not going to use it for this, that, and the next thing. But they all reserve the right to update the policy at any time. And some of them go so far as to say they're not even responsible for updating you when they change the policy. You've got to go check it yourself. So like companies changing their privacy policies is super common. And this goes back to what I was saying about the fact that data gets out there. There are not really any secrets.
And again, like even if back to like even the article, if 23andMe is public company, and they've got the minute that they're acquired, which could happen as a public company every day, you could have someone come in and buy a bunch of shares.
Yep.
And buy a bunch of shares, and it could be aggressive or it could become, and then now they own the thing.
Yeah.
And now they own it. And it's not like they get to like exclude the data they collected. That's part of the reason the acquisition happened. Now, I don't know how easy it would be to remove yourself from that data set. Probably impossible. They're probably not just letting you delete their business of collecting information. But yeah, from the privacy policy stuff, like I get an email once a week.
Yeah.
Hey, we've updated our terms and conditions, and it'll be like Google, or it'll be Adobe, or it'll be whatever. And do I read it?
Well, we talked about this on the last stream too, right?
Yeah.
Should you read the privacy policies? Yes, but how often are you going to read them?
How often are you going to read them? I would get not a lot of work done that day if I've got to read 60 pages of this, trying to find the difference between last month's change.
Across probably like 50 software systems we use. Like as a company that's invested in technology.
We can't even do that. Like, it's impossible. So, again, not unusual, not surprising.